Hello everyone. I'll just wait for a moment for others to join in and then we'll get started with our session. In the meantime, let me introduce myself. My name is Abhilasha and I'm a VRC mentor for Career Launcher. I've been training students for exams such as CAT and CLAT. If you can hear me and see me, then quickly give me a yes in the chat box. If I'm audible and visible, you can also remember hit like, share, and subscribe. That's the routine that we follow. I'm just waiting for others to join in. In the meantime, like, share, and subscribe. The most important thing is that you must share this session so that others like you can also join in and also subscribe to the session so that you can chat in the chat box with us. Otherwise, if you're not subscribed, you will not be able to chat. And of course, we love that. Right? So, hi everybody. Very good afternoon. Now it's afternoon. Yes, it is 12. So, yeah, good afternoon. How are you? I hope everybody is doing well. If you have any questions from the previous week, any thoughts that you have, please feel free to ask me. I'm here for a moment and then we will start off our other session or the session for today. So we are continuing with the session on all about CAT. Today we will be discussing a little bit more about the MBA entrances. We'll talk about ZAT, SNAP, and MAT. And we'll also continue talking about CAT, of course, because that's my favorite. Yeah. Everyone, give me a quick yes or no in the chat box so I know that I'm audible and visible. So I think I've got one something hello from someone. Yes. Okay, wonderful. So I've got a yes from someone. Yes. Okay, wonderful. So I've got a yes. Hi Sumit, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Samrat. How are you? All right. So, any doubts from the previous session? We spoke about CAT and we spoke about the pattern of CAT in the previous exam, in the previous session. Today, we'll speak a little bit about these exams. We'll also discuss how you should be starting your preparation and what are the different exam patterns. So, we'll cover all of that. In the next session, we will start by taking up question types and we'll get into the specifics of the question types for each examination, as in what are the questions that you will find in each one of these. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody is liked, shared, and subscribed the session. And remember to hit the bell icon also, everyone, so that you're subscribed and you're aware of what the next session is going to be. All right, so today we're going to be talking about CAT, we're going to talk about ZAT, we're going to talk about NMAT and SNAP. These are the four most important exams of the season. Till last year, we also had IFT. Last session, IFT exam got scrapped, and the students for IFT are now supposed to fill up the CAT form, and the admission is through CAT. Interestingly, some other inclusions have happened. ISB has started a new course on on business analytics, and admission to that is now through NMAT. ISB flagship course, you can take admission through CAT. So that's a little bit about our exams. Let's take a look. So each of these exams is assessing a various competencies. The competencies that they're asking you could be quantitative aptitude. Remember, it's not maths that they're testing you. They're testing you on quantitative aptitude, how well you're able to handle numbers. Then it is verbal ability and reading comprehension. Then logical reasoning, general awareness, and in that you also have decision making, which is a very interesting section that has come about. If you're preparing for these exams, let's understand when these exams happen and how the examination schedule is like. So NMAT is the first exam of the season, which starts in November, and you can write an exam every single day till December, right? You can give three tries for NMAT. The highest score is the one that is taken for a college, but Narsi Monji Mumbai only takes the first score. Then you have CAT. CAT happens on the last Sunday of November. Last Sunday of November. Okay. Then in December, you have SNAP. 2 attempts of SNAP will happen on 2 Sundays. And then in January of the next year, you will have the first Sunday will be ZAT and the second Sunday will be SNAP. Okay. So let me rewrite this in a better fashion. Sometimes I write very badly. So let me turn this around and write it like this. So let's put the months and then we will put the details. Okay. So if I'm to draw this is November, this is December, this is January. Okay. So in November, you start with NMAT, which goes on till here. Okay. Or better, let me reframe this and write it in a better fashion. So if this is November, okay, this is December, and this is January, right? So here, so NMAT happens from November to December. So from here to here, this is NMAT. CAT will happen on the third Sunday. So this is CAT. In December, you will have 2 snaps. Okay, this one and this one. And in January, you will have ZAT and subsequently you will have SNAP. So this is the format of the exam. So anyone who's writing the exams will first write NMAT, then CAT, then SNAP, and finally in January, you will have your ZAT. So that's the pattern of the exams that you will have. So now while you're preparing for CAT or you're preparing for any of your MBA entrances, the important thing is that before November, your syllabus has to be complete. Everything that you're studying has to be pre-November. So if this is November, then your syllabus must be finished before November, right? So that's the idea that you should have in your mind. And this is the plan of exams that should be there in your mind. So anyone who's starting ideally should have 1 year at hand, which will give you ample amount of time to prepare. So for example, you guys are starting now. This is just perfect time for you to start. You were starting in September end or October, and then October to October is 1 year, which gives you ample amount of time to prepare. Now, these exams are not just about studying hard, but also about studying smart. So you're not just looking at, all the hard work, but also smart work. A structured plan will have time management. You will prioritize weaker areas and you will do regular practice to achieve your high scores. A 99.99 percentile in CAT or in the other examinations is what you're expecting. Let's understand the exam pattern one by one, everyone. If you have any questions, please ask me as we go along. Okay. Hi, Pankudi. Oh, yes, you should fill up the NMAT. Please do. NMAT will have very good colleges this year. And trust me, Narsi Monji, Mumbai is a very good place to be. Also, I really like this ISB Business Analytics course. It's a new one, but it should be a good one. ISB has very good credentials in terms of placement, in terms of education. Very, very good. So therefore, that is also something that you should keep in mind. Plus, there are other colleges also in NMAT which are good. So you should definitely keep that in mind. Exam XUB, which is Exam Bhubaneswar, is also there. So good. Mohit, if you have 73, 73, 68 BASC category, try to get about 85 percentile. You should be able to, make the cutoff. I'll not say if you'll be able to clear the exam but definitely make the cutoff. So let's look at our exams. Our first exam, of course, of the season is always CAT. Now, the 3 sections that are tested, number 1 is quantitative aptitude, number 2 is VARC, and number 3 is DILR. If you know 22 questions in quantitative, 24 questions in VARC, and 20 questions in DILR to be completed in 2 hours, okay, plus 3, and minus 1 is the pattern for the MCQs. And for the TETA questions, you have plus 3 as the pattern. If you look at ZAT, ZAT is also very similar to CAT. It has 3 sections. You have the VARC section. Okay. You have the decision-making section. And you have the QADI section, right? So these are the three sections where you will have questions. And apart from this, after the test is over, then there is a test on GK also. Earlier, there used to be a test on essay writing also, but now no more. So it's no longer a 2 hour and 15-minute test. It's a shorter test, but yeah, definitely. So 3 sections to be done with the GK section. There is no essay writing now. The peculiarity of that is the decision making section, which is what you really need to conquer. Because VRC will have regular stuff, GK, this, that. QADI will have regular quant, LRDI, and all of that. But decision making will have some 8 to 10 business or social or ethical problems, and you're supposed to answer questions based on that. So to crack that, you will have to really work on your decision making skills, and that's the section that is going to be important. If you look at NMAT, now the NMAT is conducted by GMAC, which is the body which conducts GMAT. Okay. Now GMAT and NMAT are very much similar in the sense that NMAT is a question adaptive test. Okay, what do I mean by question adaptive? It means the performance on one question will define what type of question you will get next. So if you perform very well on a question, the next question will be a higher score, higher level of difficulty question. If you don't do well on this, so you get it right, you get a higher score question. You get it wrong, you get a lower score question. So every question defines what the next question is going to be. So that is why we say it is question adaptive in nature. Now that's a peculiarity of NMAT. That's a peculiarity specifically of GMAT and also of NMAT. The sections that are tested: language skills, quantitative skills, and logical skills. NMAT, you can take 3 tries on NMAT, and only your first, so Narsi Monji Mumbai will take the score of the first exam. The others will allow you to take whatever score that you wish. The best score can be taken by NMAT. So NMAT is a very good exam, very, very interesting. And then finally SNAP, which is a 1 hour exam, 60 minutes, 60 questions. So it's a test of speed, right? Also, NMAT is also a test of speed. Okay, you will have to do some 30 questions in some 22 minutes and like that. So these are tests of speed more than anything else. CAT and ZAT are more tests of your reasoning ability, your test of knowledge, other than everything else. They're not really tests of speed, but NMAT and SNAP are tests of speed. So in 60 minutes, you have to do general English, 15 questions, quant, and GK. Right, so all of this, the GK section is a distinguishing factor. Also remember, SNAP has negative marking, and that kind of figures kind of makes your paper go bad or good, whichever way you think. Okay, so that's your pattern. Let's understand a little bit more about CAT and SNAP. So the sections that are being tested, the key areas are reading comprehension, verbal logic, in which you have parajumbles, odd sentence out, and sentence completion, and grammar and vocabulary based questions. So if you look at CAT will test you only on RC and on VA, but SNAP will also test you on the other 3. SNAP may not have RC in one of the papers. So it has 3 papers. So sometimes what happens is that you may get an RC, you may not get an RC also, because generally SNAP has single line questions. Okay. So therefore that RC, if you look at CAT, there are 4 passages. Each one has 4 questions, and the questions can be inferential, can be main idea type, can be very data specific also. So question types are not fixed. In the verbal logic, parajumble, odd one out, sentence completion, para summary questions, these are questions which are again para based. So if you look at CAT, it is more of a reading based test. If you look at SNAP, it is more a grammar, vocabulary based test. So if you do well in grammar, if you do well in vocabulary, if you know a lot of idioms, phrases, phrasal verbs, foreign words, that will really help you crack your SNAP. Now, in order to crack your CAT and SNAP, the number 1 habit is the habit of reading. Now, you could read newspapers, magazines, novels, anything, but your reading speed has to go up. A minimum of 300 words per minute is what will help you really do well in CAT. Okay. So reading speed has to be high, and as well comprehension has to be high. So for reading comprehension, what you need to do is practice your reading techniques and train yourself to read fast without losing comprehension. So the more you read and the wider you read, the better you will get at this. Okay. Then also you must work on improving your vocabulary. Now, how do you improve your vocabulary? There can be many ways. So you could create your own dictionary. You could take up a book like WordPar Made Easy and use it. You could use flashcards. You could use vocabulary apps. There's so many of them out there, right? You could just go through your vocabulary books. We give you so many books, so those vocabulary books are also very helpful. So work on your vocabulary. That's very, very important. Grammar, of course, you've done grammar in school, so that's elementary grammar is what is required in exams like these. Just the revision of your grammar has to happen. If you revise well, then you have got it covered. Now, some common pitfalls is, of course, when you spend too much time on reading each passage and just go obsessing with that. So that's where a problem happens. Then also failing to practice grammar based questions, because see, cat will not have grammar, but snap will have grammar, and it'll have simple stuff like converting a sentence from active to passive, or checking what the indirect speech of a sentence is going to be, or identifying the meaning of an idiom, such simple things. But what we do is we tend to forget the smaller things in search for the bigger things. So if you fail to practice your grammar questions enough, you may not do as well in your snap. In cat, of course, grammar will not be that important because there are no questions of grammar in cat. You know that there's only a reading comprehension and there's only verbal logic. So therefore keep that in mind while you're doing this. Okay guys, any doubts at any point of time? Pankudi, except for SIBM and SCMHRD, you can choose some other colleges like SIIB. If you're an engineer, then SIOM can be a good choice. And other than that, SIDTM could be a choice, but it's not a top college. So therefore, you have to be very cautious while you're looking at it. So colleges which come with CAT, of course, there are the IIMs, of course, all the IIMs. So there's Blackie IIMs, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Indore, Kozhikode, and the others, the new IIMs and the baby IIMs. Then you have FMS in Delhi, which is one of the cheapest, not the cheapest, lowest fee college. Then you have SPJN in Mumbai, you have MDI in Gurgaon, you have IFT in Delhi and Kolkata, you have NITI, which is now IIM Mumbai. You have IMT Ghaziabad, you have the IITs, and there are so many other colleges, at least 100 colleges that accept CAT score. If you want to get into the top colleges, then a 99.5 plus percentile is required for anyone who's applying. Okay, so SNAP institutes, like I said, there is SIBM in Pune, there is SIBM in Bengaluru, there is SCMHRD in Pune, there is SIIB in Pune, there is SIOM in Nashik. This one more specifically for engineers, because what will a non-engineer do once you do operations management? Okay, then there's School of Banking and Finance. There is one which I really like, and that is SIDTM. This is Digital Management. It used to be SITM, Symbiosis Institute of Technology and Management. Now it is Digital Technology and Management. This is a good one. Okay, so they have some courses which you can apply to. So yeah, the syllabus is the same. Absolutely, CAT exams, the syllabus is absolutely the same, just a little bit here and there. This is what I'm discussing today. So if you look at XAT, which is the second most important exam in the country, because it has a lot of colleges, right? So what is the syllabus? Let's take a look. This section is called the verbal and logical ability. Of course, your proficiency in English language, critical reasoning, and logical analysis. So it's not just reading comprehension. There are many things. So there is a lot of critical reasoning that is part of it. There's a lot of logical analysis. That is considered to be very challenging because the questions are very complex. Something as simple as grammar, they may just test you on prepositions, they may test you on articles, but the way the questions are framed make it very, very complicated. So easiest of stuff also becomes slightly more complicated in ZAT. So if you look at CAT and ZAT, the level of difficulty is almost the same. In CAT, the question types are limited to 5. In ZAT, the question types are many. Interestingly, in ZAT, if you look at the reading comprehension, there are passages, of course. The passages will test you on inference, on facts, and stuff like that. One very interesting type of reading comprehension that comes in ZAT is the poem comprehension. So every year, a poem comes with 1 or 2 questions, okay, and you're supposed to answer this. Now, this is something that a lot of students get complicated and get confused by. But please understand that the poems are generally easy to solve. If you are to look at the ZAT previous year papers, most of the poems have been very Sufi sort of poems or philosophical in nature. There was something from Sylvia Plath last year, couple of years ago. So lots of philosophy, lots of self exploration, very interesting poems that appear in this exam. So if you're comfortable, if you're someone who's comfortable in poetry and all, you will find this to be very nice. So there are 4 or 5 passages. Then, of course, there are questions on critical reasoning. Now, this is that exact GMAT pattern, critical reasoning. So a short paragraph is given, and that is followed by questions that ask you to either strengthen the author's argument, weaken the author's argument, draw conclusions from the argument, identify inferences from the argument, right, or identify assumptions from the argument also. So all of that is being tested in the exam. Now, also para jumbles or sentence arrangement is also part of this exam. So the questions involve arranging jumbled sentences. So now the good thing is here you have options. In CAT, the para jumbles do not have options, but here they give you 5 options. So they give you 4 or 5 sentences which are of course jumbled up, and you have to arrange the sentence to form a coherent paragraph and then choose one of the correct options. Now, generally, I find that para jumbles with options are fairly easy, but the questions in ZAT are not as easy. So they are slightly more complicated. The sentences don't really have very apparent clues, and that is why it becomes a little more difficult for us to solve these questions. Then questions on grammar and sentence correction also come. So they will give you 4 or 5 sentences, and they will ask you how many of these sentences are correct. And then the options are given accordingly, that only 1 is correct, 2 or 3 are correct, whatever, right? Now here the errors are so small. The errors are actually like, very simple errors. But because the errors are very simple, we tend to, miss those errors. And that's why the grammar in ZAT becomes complicated. You would get 2 questions on grammar, but then they become very complicated because the errors are very tiny and very easily missed. Okay. Now, if you look at the analogy and vocabulary based questions, the vocabulary based questions that ZAT really likes are closures. Now, what's a closure? A closure is a paragraph that is given and some sentences are missing. So it is a fill in the blank kind of a question, but the idea is that from a paragraph, a number of words are missing. And then they give you 5 options where all the words are there, and you have to choose which option will fill up the blanks. So closure again. Now here the trick is, here the problem is that they give you very commonly confused words. So words like disinterested, misinterested. Now if you don't know the exact meaning, you will get it wrong, right? Or censor and censure. And if you don't know the meaning, then you get it wrong. So the closures are again very tricky. So ZAT, like I said, is a very tricky exam. I won't say it's a very difficult exam, but I'm saying it's tricky. So in order to do ZAT well, you have to have competence on every section, and you need to do a lot of ZAT papers. Go through the past year papers so you are comfortable and familiar with all the ZAT papers. That's important. Now, of course, some institutes that accept your ZAT score, of course, XLRI Jamshedpur, also XLRI Delhi. Right? I don't know why we've missed this one out. So Delhi. Then there's IIM Bhubaneswar, which is now called XUB, Xavier University in Bhubaneswar, SP Jain in Mumbai, Great Lakes in Chennai, IMT in Ghaziabad, TAPMI, Goa Institute, LIBA, and there will be other Xavier institutes also, right? So there is XISS, there is XIME, and so on, right? So all of these are plenty of institutes that accept your XAT score. That if you do well in decision making, then this is an exam that you will be able to do very, very easily and very well. Let's also look at NMAT. So NMAT, the verbal and logical ability section, like I said, it's an adaptive test, right? Now, it's a very moderate difficult test, not very difficult, but time is critical. Why? Because there is a fixed time limit to this section. So, when you start your verbal and logical ability section, you have to be able to do it well, but you also have to do it very fast. The two skills that are being tested are language skills and logical reasoning. So both are being tested in this exam. Now, what are the type of questions that they will ask? They'll ask reading comprehension, but short passages, not like 1,000-word long passage. So 300 to 500-word passages. Then you will have questions which test you on comprehension, inference, vocabulary usage in context, and such like things. Mostly a lot of inferential questions will be there. Then parajumbles, of course, sentence arrangement, we already know exactly the same way as the previous ones. Then error identification and sentence correction. So there will be sentences which will have grammatical errors. A part of the sentence will be underlined. You will have to find the best replacement of that sentence. So therefore, sentence correction, sentence replacement are question types that are very popular. Then fill in the blanks also. So single blank, double blank questions where you may choose the word. But here the problem is that the words are not your easy common words. So the words are difficult words here, right? So therefore your knowledge of vocabulary has to be very strong. You cannot go into NMAT with some very easy type of words. You will need a strong command over your vocabulary. And questions on synonyms, antonyms, also questions on analogies are also very popular with NMAT. So they give you analogies, but they give you very tough analogies. So again, for those, your knowledge of vocabulary has to be very, very strong. So questions that test your vocabulary by asking questions, by asking you to identify similar or opposites, so synonyms, antonyms, those are of course there. And analogy also is there in a big way in NMAT. Now, colleges through NMAT, like I said, we've already discussed this also. So, NMIMS Mumbai. The other branches of NMIMS are also through this, right? Mind you, Hyderabad and all. Then XUB, Bhubaneswar, ISB, like I said, ISB, the business analytics course is also now through NMAT. SPGen for the PGPM PW, then ISB Hyderabad Alliance, Shivnadar, and a host of other colleges also. Okay, so there are a number of colleges in Africa, some colleges in East Asia. Okay, like Asian Institute of Management in Manila also takes scores from NMAT. So there are some colleges otherwise also. But in India, of course, you get a decent number of colleges. Narsi Monji itself has Narsi Monji, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So 3-4 of those. And Mumbai, of course, is a very good college. So that's something that you keep in mind. Now, what's the preparation strategy that you should have? How are you going to be preparing? Like we said, we're going to have time. We have almost 1 year, right? Within this 1 year, what is it that we should do so that by next year, by October or something, we are ready? So begin preparation at least 6 to 12 months. Like we said, if you have 1 year, wonderful. Create a detailed study plan for yourself. Okay. Now, how will you create your detailed study plan? This is a thought that I always have. So, first of all, is you should determine how many hours do you have in a day, right? Isn't it? So, I have 8 plus 8 plus 8 hours in the day. The first 8 is for my routine tasks. So, sleeping, waking up, eating, and all of that. The second 8 is for my academics, my college, or my work. Okay, whatever. If I'm working, then for work. If I'm studying, then for that. The last 8 are for my self development. Okay. Or career development. One of the two, whatever you want to do. So at this point of time, you will be focusing on career development. So these 8 hours are what you have. Now, of course, there will be some tweaking this way, that way. But even if you don't have 8, you will end up with at least 6 hours that you can spend on your CAT preparation every day. So of this 6 hours, initially spend at least 2 hours on reading. What will happen? Please understand that all these exams are very focused on reading. So if you build the habit of reading, you will be able to do everything well. It will have a rollover effect on everything. So spend 1 to 2 hours on reading. I'll say 1 to 2 hours. I'm not giving you a fixed number. Again, spend 1 to 2 hours on your maths. Okay. Spend 30 minutes on improving your vocabulary. Okay. And whatever other time you have, you can start your syllabus. Okay. So syllabus prep, topic wise, taking up a topic and then working on that will be the next thing. So this should take care of your 6 hours study, right? So 4 to 6 hours of daily study. You can break it up into focus block. Like I said, spend 1 to 2 hours in reading, spend 30 minutes on vocabulary, spend 1 to 2 hours on your maths, spend some time on individual topics for individual subjects, and then take it. So you can use techniques like the Pomodoro technique is identifying tasks and giving them allotted time, and then accordingly working to work for that hour. So you start your time, put an alarm clock, say I'm going to be reading for 30 minutes. Then 30 minutes after, when the alarm switches off, then you just stop, take a break, go take a walk 2 minutes, or you can just stretch, have some water, and then come back, and then the next 30 minutes again. So you're training yourself to sit for 30 minutes initially. Then you can take it to 1 hour, you can take it to 1.5 hours, you can take it to 2 hours also, because end of the day, we will be focusing on a 2 hour schedule. Now, time management, of course, prioritize sections based on topics on their weightage in the exam. So in quant, there's a lot of quant. In CAT, there's a lot of quant. You have quant and LRD are 2 sections. ZAT has decision making. All other exams, or in fact all exams, the reading will be the thing. So the highest amount of weightage that you need to do is you need to give to reading. So spend the most time on reading, maximum amount of time on reading, so that you become comfortable. Let's understand. If you look at CAT, the entire paper is based on reading. If you look at ZAT, it's based on reading. If you look at NMAT, SNAP, everywhere you will have reading comprehension. And most of us are not comfortable in reading. And there is no magic wand that you have. So what is the way of becoming comfortable in reading? There's only one. And that's by actually reading. So you get into the habit of reading. Initially, if you've never read anything, what do you read? You can read comics also. You can read magazines. You can read fun stuff. You can read nice storybooks. Okay. Go to your school library, go to a neighborhood library, pick up some Nancy Drews, Enid Blyton's, Harry Potter. Read some good stories. You will start enjoying them. Once you start enjoying reading, then you can pick up more advanced stuff also. But initially start by reading so that you get into the habit of reading. Similarly, for maths and all, start by doing your basic calculations, learn your tables, squares, cubes, square roots, cube roots, and such stuff. Have those ready for you, and then you take it forward. So reading will be your number one thing. The second number thing is vocabulary, which of course I've said. Now set a weekly target and then review it at the end of the week. So you've divided your year into 12 months. Then divide that 12 months. So have your year, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 12 months. And then divide each month into 4 blocks, 4 weeks. and say, okay, this week I'm going to be doing, let's say, para jumbles. Okay, the next week I will do again para jumbles, but this time theta para jumbles. The next week I'll do para summary. The next week I will do para completion. This is how you break it up. And then for that topic, you do as many questions as you can. So weekly targets divided into yearly targets divided into, so monthly targets, and then monthly targets divided into weekly targets. And these weekly targets can be divided into daily targets, that I'm going to be doing this much. And at the end of the day, tick it that, okay, I have completed this. For example, I'll master geometry and complete 50 RC questions. Do it and then tick it. So you have it there in front of your eyes. You can understand how much you've done, what you've done, whether you've been able to achieve your targets. So that will keep you very focused. In your room, you can make this chart and place it, near your bed, where you can see it in front of your bed. So you are able to see, okay, I have done my targets for this week, I have done my targets for the next week. That is something that will really help you focus and help you, have a goal and then take it forward. So that's something that's really, really good. So do a weekly review, do a target setting for every month, and then weekly review. Have you completed your target? If you haven't, then do make sure that you complete it. Okay, so that's something that you should do. While you're practicing and revision the last 6 months, okay, that means from, so CAT will be in November. So let's backtrack. October, September, August, July, and June. Okay. And because we will not include November, so I'm saying May also. These 6 months, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 should be very focused. And they should, while you're doing your topics, you do the topic tests and have them finished. Then after you've done 3, 4 topics, you can start doing your section test. From the month of May, you should focus on doing as many mock tests as you can. And you should at least do 30 mocks in these 6 months. So if there are 6 months, every month has 4 Sundays. So you end up doing a minimum of 24 Sundays, 24 mocks. You could do 30 mocks very well. These 30 mocks would help you, understand what the exam pattern is, understand how you can take it, how well you're able to equipped to take it also, right? Then do the analysis. So the analysis will also tell you, are you performing up to the mark? It will also help you understand where you lack and what you can do. Corrective actions can also happen, right? So you take those corrective actions, but that can only happen if you're writing mocks. So therefore, if you start your preparation early, you also get into the writing mock zone early. And if you started doing your mocks early, you will have a lot of advantage. So you simulate exam condition, you identify your strong and weak areas. You can do a lot of frequent revision, take mock tests, analyze them, work on your weak areas. In the last couple of months, don't learn anything new. People will say, oh, the preparation, the learning will happen till the last month. But that's not really necessary. You can just focus on perfecting the topics that you have already studied, right? So study, apply, revise, and test. STAR is the way to go. Okay, very simple. Study, apply, revise, and test. The minute you do this, you're on your path to do a smart study and not just, study. All right. So that brings us to the end of this session. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. How much time we've already discussed, that is enough time for you to do your preparation, about a year, 6 months to 1 year, right? And of course, working 3 to 4 hours every day, you will be able to crack it, right? So that's that, guys. Any questions? I'm still waiting here for a moment. CAT is, of course, a very easy exam if you do it in a planned manner. If you do it in a haphazard manner, it will not be very easy for you. But if you plan your preparation in a systematic fashion, then you will do very, very well with this examination. Yes, CAT exam, ma'am. I want to ask that CAT and other entrance have same syllabus. Yes, most of them have almost similar syllabus. Yes, so if you're preparing for CAT and you do your grammar and your vocabulary well, then NMAT will work for you, SNAP will work for you, ZAT will work for you. All you need to do is fill up those forms. Okay. All right, guys, I hope everybody has hit the like button and that you have shared the session and that you have also subscribed to the session, right? And please remember to hit the bell icon. Thank you so much. I will see you again soon. Next Thursday, right? 12. The timing has changed from 11 to 12, but do remember that we will be meeting at 12 noon next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.